What we tend to do is we get a forecast in on a 3 forecasts a day. We get them in at 6 o'clock in the morning, we get them 12 o'clock, and I get them 6 o'clock in the evening. We use the 12 o'clock one to give us our forecast. So we use a lot of different, we use Meteor Group, who are our main provider for our forecasting. They'll supply us with all the information, what's around the area at the time, what's expected in the hours to come, and etc. And from that, we'll also make a decision on, depending on the threat, where the road surface temperature, whether we expect ice, whether we expect frost, or whether we expect snow, and then we'll take whatever action necessary from that point.
So you're not going outside and wetting your finger or looking at the clouds, you've got some specific data?
No, we've moved on slightly from seaweed and seen if it curls up in the corner of the road, so it's quite a scientific process at the moment. What these companies do, like Meteor Group, they will run thousands and thousands of different models, different permutations of what may or may not happen, and from that they'll get a good indication, but it'll always still be a forecast of what they expect to happen, and that'll take into consideration land mass, airflow, open skies, clear skies, partially cloudy skies, so all that comes together to give an indication of where you need to go going forward.
And you mentioned there the road surface temperature. Why is that an important measure?
The road surface temperature, a lot of us will come out of a house and think actually it's not that bad, it may be just above freezing in the air temperature, but the road surface temperature is what actually gets moist. That moist, if the road surface temperature goes below freezing, will form ice, and therefore there's the risk on the network. Or it could just be the dew point goes below the road surface temperature, and then you will get the road surface temperature will go below the dew point. And you will get you'll get frost or hoarfrost forming from that.
So hoarfrost, that very pretty white frost, can that be hazardous?
It can be very hazardous. It depends on the intensity of the hoarfrost. Sometimes you'll see it's a very light covering. Sometimes you can see it actually very crystallised and it looks very open. And that in itself can be very slippy as well. But we always aim to treat before these things form. Like precautionary gritting in its name and its nature is the fact that we will treat ahead. So we may have an issue creating at say 6 o'clock tomorrow morning where there could be hoarfrost, and what we'll do is we'll treat in the hours leading up to that, so there's ample salt on the network to prevent frost from forming.
And how does that salt work?
The salt is basically, it's a rock salt, and it mixed with water, it forms a brine. Higher the concentration of the brine, the lower the freeze temperature becomes. So that's the basic principles behind salting. The salt needs itself, once we spread on the road, we need vehicles running over it to what we class it as activation, but it crushes the salt, it mixes it with the moisture and the water, whatever's present on the road, to form that brine level.
And has there been any indication so far as to whether we're going to have a cold winter this year?
I think early indications, and when we've had quite marginal, mild winters over the last few years, after the ones we had back in 2010, etc., where we had a lot of snow and cold periods, they've been quite marginal. This one, slightly lower than expected, but I think at the moment it's just below the actual norm. Next week it shows that it's around about the norm temperature for this time of year. So there's no real indication yet as to where we're going to go with this winter.